Hi, everybody. How's it going? All right, let me get us hooked up to the Facebooks. Da, 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 da. Yay. Hi, everybody. Great to see you. Lovely, lovely. Hi, Lee. How's it going? All right, let's just make sure the phones are off. The water is here. The pens are clicked. You can see I'm fresh from the shower. I got all clean just for you guys. Hi, Bill. Great to see you. Veronica, thank you so much for being here as always. A pleasure to see you, my dear. Put my chat up. That seems like a good idea. Great. Oh, good. Sound is good. There's June. Hi, June. How are you? Rosalind, great to see you. Hello, hello. We got about a minute till the top of the hour. Nancy, always a pleasure. Oh, you can kind of see that what a mess the room is behind me. Oh, well, we're not going for perfect, are we? Perfect is way too low of a bar. We're going for real. We're going for human. We're going for truth. How about that? It's kind of an 80s vibe here. My glasses, I got my brand new sort of Little House on the Prairie top here. I'm feeling like I'm in high school. I'm feeling like I'm dressed for high school. Good. Well, I got top of the hour, so let's start. Hi, everybody. It's Sam Bennett from therealsambennett.com, and welcome to this, our weekly Facebook Live, a little exploration into your creativity, into your productivity, into the light that you are in the world, and how can we make that shine better and truer and with greater impact, both on your own personal life and on the world at large. And we start that by centering in to the moment, into the self, into the now. We're going to breathe. We're going to breathe. And we're going to let these breaths make a difference. We're going to let these breaths open us up to new ideas. We're going to let these breaths be a portal into a new world, into a different time. I may have a bell. Into a new way of being. Because every moment is an opportunity to have a new way of being. You don't need to be the person you were 10 minutes ago. You don't need to be the person you were yesterday. Everything can change right now. So drop your shoulders down and back, opening up just a little bit right there. Right? Let your belly go really poochy soft. Soften the bottoms of your feet. You know, we're tend to clench our feet like monkeys, like marsupials do, you know, when we're stressed out. So see if you can relax the bottom of your feet a little bit. Loosen your hands. Drop your jaw. If you wanna, oh, that feels nice. Touch your face. Put your hands on your face. Say, hello, face. Thanks, face. You've been my face for so long now. Thank you, face. You ready? Let's inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Go ahead and sigh it out. Actors and singers do this as a warm-up all the time, right? Feels good. Thank you for doing that with me. Thank you for being here. Thank you for making time for yourself, for you. Hi, Carrie Ann. Hi, Lucy. Hi, Julie. Great to see you. So I promised you a slightly unusual way to prioritize today, because that's the question I probably hear most often. How do I prioritize? How do I know where to start? What do I do? How do I know what to do? I've got so many things to do. How do I know what to do? And what I want to, and what happens is you get, you sort of have these thoughts and you get sort of overwhelmed by these thoughts, and then you end up doing exactly the same thing you always do, which gets you exactly the same results that you always get. This is how you don't change your life, right? Hi, Gaynell, great to see you. So if we want things to be different, we have to do things differently. If you want things to be different, you have to do things differently. If you want things to be different, you have to show up differently. If you want things to be different, you have to think differently. And that's hard because, we're creatures of habit. We like to do things the way we like to do things. And you have to change everything, of course not, but just a little bit. And it's amazing how just a little bit of a shift can make an enormous difference. My colleague, David Nagel, likes to say you're just 1 degree away from everything you want. And there's some very practical ways in which that's true. I mean, if you raised your prices by 1 decimal point, if you just move the decimal point over 1, that would change things, wouldn't it? Right? If your eating habits were 1 tick better, if your sleeping habits were 1 tick better, if you worried 1 tick less. It's an interesting thought. Hi, Lori. Great to see you. So this question, how do I prioritize? How do I know what to do? Where do I start? I don't know what to start. I get so overwhelmed. Okay. Here's my question. And I want you just to answer this right off the top of your head, right off the bottom of your belly. Like, just don't even think about it. Just let the answer roll out of you. And you can either type it into the chat or type it into the Facebook chat, and Veronica will relay it to me over here on the Zoom. We have this very elaborate system. The question is this: what seriously ticks you off? Like, what really what will like enrage you like this? Like, what just bugs the crap out of you? And just whatever that first answer is, where do you just go like, no, absolutely not, like, no, you're just not allowed to be like that. Like, for me, it's rudeness. The first thing that comes to my mind, yeah, unkindness, rudeness, like that just sends me, I can't hardly tolerate it. People telling me what I feel. Oh, I love that. Dishonesty. Yes. Brian says right-wing politic. But what is it about the right-wing politic? What is it that they're doing that makes you mad? Interruptions, disrespect, people acting entitled. Hi, Judy. Great to see you. Yeah, entitlement. Like, oh, this is my... There once did a show in Chicago at the Organic Theater based on a cartoon, a comic. I think it was a Linda J. Barry comic, and I'm not remembering the name of it now, but they had the cats. The cats were characters in the show, in the musical, and they moved the scene. They did the scene changes. They moved the furniture around. And so as the cats were moving the scene changes around, they sang a little song, and the little song they sang was, "Everything here is mine. Everything here is mine. This is mine. That is mine. Everything here is mine." It was hilarious because they were cats. And cats do think that everything there is theirs. I think to be dismissed. O'Brien clarified, lying and attacking people. Right, good, more precise, right? Because it's not all of them. Some of those right-wing are very nice. Thinking of others, divisiveness, good. Okay, so here's what we do. These things that get you, that annoy you, that anger you, enrage you, they are key to your value system, right? You get mad when somebody's big boots stomp us all over your garden, right? And it's interesting, right? Because not everybody, Marilyn says being dismissed, right. And some of these things, like I can look at and go like, oh yeah, that bugs me too, but it doesn't, it's not going to be screaming from the room. Nicole Hollander, thank you. Veronica's so on the ball. Everything Here is Mine, An Unhelpful Guide to Cat Behavior by Nicole Hollander. Yes, so it was a musical based on the work of Nicole Hollander, and that was the little scene change. It's just a little story about being entitled. That's all. But people who act like that, everything here is mine. So this thing that bugs you so bad is a key to your value system. And here's the thing about values, because people talk about values all the time. You've probably done some values work. And a lot of, and if I just asked you what your values were, you'd be like, oh, my health and my family and friends. And those things are valuable. Don't get me wrong. I know you do value those things, but they're not what drives you. They're not what gets you out of bed in the morning. So getting some clarity on what values are most important to you can also give you a clue on what to prioritize, right? What's going to really make an impact from a values perspective. So what you do is you take these things that bug you so bad and flip it. What's the opposite, right? They're reflective of a value. What's the value that is being dismissed or trampled on when someone is lying and attacking people, when someone is dismissive, when someone tries to tell you how you're feeling, when someone is entitled? What's the opposite, right? So, and it's going to be different for every person, right? Because language means different things to different people. For me personally, Sam Bennett, the opposite of entitled would be humility. What we call, or what I think of as right relationship, right? Like not too big, not too small, just in right relationship to the world. We're not more important nor less important, right? Julie says, okay, interruptions just annoy me, don't enrage me, but yeah, I can look at what about interruptions is it, right? Exactly, yeah. And some of us got trained out of getting enraged at all. Like, oh, I don't get angry, I get frustrated. Have we talked about this, frustration? This is a very handy tip. My friend Sam Christensen taught me this. Frustration is the daughter of anger and impotence. Frustration is the daughter of anger and impotence. So, and a lot of us say frustrated when we mean angry, right? Oh, I'm not mad, I'm just frustrated. Oh, I'm not angry with them, I'm just frustrated. Just frustrated, that's all. I'm just frustrated. And we've learned to minimize our own anger, right? So when you find yourself using the word frustrated, ask yourself, am I angry? And if so, what do you want to do about that anger, right? Do you want to express that anger? Do you want to, pound the mattress with a wiffle bat? Do you want to talk it out? Do you want to cry it out? Like, what do you want to do about, because feelings just want to be felt, right? So how can you express and feel this anger in a way that's, safe for you and for other people? And are you in fact impotent? Are you in fact powerless in this situation? Because if you are powerless in this situation, well, you might as well relax because you're powerless, right? So, not much to be done. If on the other hand, you are not powerless, then what actions can you take, right? Robin says, the expectation that I will do the thing, the chore. Oh yeah, it's all up to me, right? Yeah. Julie says, okay, interruptions really piss me off. Yes, girl, claim it for sure. So yeah, and so what is it about it? What is it? What is the opposite? The opposite of being interrupted is, I don't know, space to dream. The opposite of being interrupted is, flow state, being in a flow state, right? Being able to really get into your work and stay in that mode. So this is not obviously, respected. Oh, nice, Lainey. I like that. Respected. Good. This is not an exact science, right? And like I said, it's going to be personal to you, what the opposite is or what feels right. And I suggest you sort of noodle around about it. Maybe make a little word map about it, like write in the, like what ideas are next to these ideas, what feels right, being in flow. Great. Yes. So Now and that's a great place to start, right? Oh my gosh, I've got this whole day of things. Well, it's really important to me to be in flow state. So I'm going to start with that. I'm going to spend 3 hours doing this thing that really absorbs me. And then in the afternoon, when I'm a little more tired, I'm going to do the more fiddly, admin things of my life, right? Because I know I'm fresher and better in the morning. So if I try to get into a flow state at 3 p.m, I'm more likely just to fall asleep. Veronica says, for her, the opposite is communicating my own feelings and needs clearly. Yes. And facilitating that communication for others, right? Helping other people communicate their needs clearly so that we can have good, communication around this. But not letting all your own feelings and your own thing take a back seat, right? That, I'll just handle it. I'll just figure it out. That's what I do. I'm not trying to make a statement about you. I'm trying to make a statement about me. Marilyn says, yes, respect for your thinking, creative time. Yes, flow will lead to creativity. Right, exactly. And, flow loves structure, right? A river flows because it has banks. So if you set the time and say, okay, from 7 to 10 every morning, or from 9 to 12, that's my flow time. And I don't schedule anything else during that time. And I don't answer the phone during that time. And I don't, allow myself to get distracted by other things during that time. That's my flow time 3 days a week or every day or whatever you want to do. And now you have a building block by which to prioritize the rest of your day, right? And when you do that, when you are spending the time on the stuff that really matters to you, the stuff that moves the needle on your values, everything else gets easier. All that other crap you have to do with your life, and we all do, we all have crap, it gets a lot easier. You're a lot more cheerful about the whole thing, right? Danielle says kindness and modeling and teaching this to grandchildren. Right, so how do we do that, right? How do we make that a priority? How do we make that the number one thing? Like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna make it a priority to send a text to my grandchild every, afternoon at 4 when I know they're out of school to say, I love you, I think you're special. How do I, or I'm going to write a book about kindness for my grandchildren, or I'm going to make up a song about kindness for my grandchildren. There goes Archie. So it's sort of a 3-part question, right? What is the thing that really pisses you off? What is that value? What value is getting stomped on when you are mad about the thing? And then what action can you take to make sure that that is at the center of your day, that is at the center of your work? And I will also tell you, if there's stuff you don't want to do, attach the value to it, right? Like, oh, I don't really feel like, whatever it is, doing my taxes, but I believe in kindness. And one of the ways I am kind is by paying my taxes and creating an infrastructure in which there is schools and roads and hospitals. So doing my taxes is an expression of the importance of kindness in my life. See what I mean? I thought I might share with you the values of the Organized Artist Company, of the real Sam Bennett. And I had a really good time, not only coming up with these words, but then also like, how do they get expressed? Like, how do you know when you're doing it, right? So like, obviously the first one is creativity. But what does that mean? What does that mean to have a value of creativity? What does that look like? And we say it means doing things a little bit differently, right? So, gosh, we have to, I need to promote a webinar coming up. Well, what's a slightly different way to do that? Oh, I could write poems. Oh, that seems fun. Let's do that. That's creative. So I can do things a little bit differently, combining unexpected elements. I love doing that. I love making 2 things one thing. And surprise yourself. Be willing to surprise yourself. Don't get set in your ways. Think about some new way that makes things kind of fun. Take a different route to the grocery store. Buy something new. Say something you've never said before, right? Yes, we do. We have, I have the old one in front of me that Veronica's saying that we got the poster of the values. This is the old one. once again, my life before Veronica, this is me playing around on Canva, but I think she made a nicer one. But yeah, if we got the poster of it, that'd be great. And then people can download it if they want. You can see the other one. The next one is authenticity, right? And authenticity / transparency. Although then I one time heard Seth Godin say that, people are all about transparency. He goes, and really, we don't want transparency. We want translucency, right? We don't need to see into every corner and crevice, but translucent lets the light shine through, right? So we want authenticity has to do with being translucent. Telling the because, and this is such a great way to be in the world, to say to people, hey, I need, to say to the server, hey, I need XYZ because, I'm a little sensitive to salt, I don't know. You say, oh, I need this by Tuesday because I'm getting on a plane on Friday. I need this by XYZ. Oh, good. Laura, Veronica's put the link to the PDF in the chat. So you guys are welcome to that. You can just download it. Gaynell says actionable, broadens and deepens my thinking. Yeah, exactly. Right. So values are not just something that we put on the wall. It's something that we live. And you don't have to do too much work to figure out your values because you have been living them already. You've been this person this whole time. You just maybe haven't put words to it. So tell the because, and I do say, honey, will you take out the trash because it's getting really stinky, right? That's different. That's different than saying, honey, will you take out the trash? Don't hide your mistakes. Don't hide your mistakes. Admit your mistakes, laugh about your mistakes, honor the humanity, right? I've always said that I would never fire someone for making a mistake because first I'd have to fire myself like 100 times a day. But also because that's how we learn. If you're not making mistakes, you're not doing anything new, right? And I'm telling you, I have had people make some very expensive mistakes. But because of my values, it's okay. It wasn't great. No one was happy about it, but we worked through it, right? Okay, she just reposted the link. Awesome. Yeah, there you go. Good. Hi, do you want to, are you making an appearance? Okay, no. All right. So creativity, authenticity. The next one is kindness. Soft eyes, soft heart, soft belly, right? Stay kind, assume goodwill. Right? Don't punish, you're not allowed to punish people for being the person that they are, right? People just are the way they are. And you get to be kind about that, right? And remembering that everyone is always doing the very best they can do. Sometimes their best is really crappy. Sometimes my best is really crappy, but it's the best they can do. So we get kind, right? And that doesn't mean we don't have hard conversations. It doesn't mean we don't stand up for ourselves. It doesn't mean we don't get angry. It just means we express it with nonviolent language and we don't hold a grudge. Yeah. So creativity, authenticity, kindness. The next one is good humor and fun, which is just, yeah, make it fun. Assume goodwill. Same with kindness, right? Assume goodwill. Assume that, it's easy to assume that people are trying to attack you or that they're being rude or something. It's like, no, just assume that they're just having a hard day. June says, I get tired hearing so many becauses. Oh, okay, fair enough. Make it fun, assume goodwill, be the first one to laugh at yourself, make good jokes. Humor's hard, but it's worth it. And then the last one for us is the perfect word, which has to do with being exceptionally literate and intentional in our language, right? So we use precise vocabulary and we try to take time to be considerate and considered in our language. Again, doesn't mean there's never any typos. It doesn't mean we don't sometimes misstate things, but it's important for it to be as clear as possible. When I was back when I was offering a really like a high-end program, it was like a $20,000 program. The legal agreement for that program was titled "The Big Legal Stuff." And I went through with my lawyer and put as much of it in real human language as I possibly could, because it was important to me that it be, first of all, good humored and kind, and clear. I wanted people really to understand what the agreement was, because it was a big commitment for both of us. So these are and once you have these values in place for yourself, and I would encourage you to pick, I don't know, 3, 5, not more than 7 probably, and really let them drive, right? Really look at your calendar and go, okay, where are these values reflected in my calendar? How can I make them even more present for myself? Because this is how we have a meaningful life, right? This is how we make our life matter, is that no matter what job we've got, no matter what our circumstances are, no matter what our health is, we are still being creative, authentic, good-humored, kind, and literate, right? Julie says, I've been told I give too many becauses. I have to try and remember which people want them and which people don't. Yes, for sure. But I always like to know the story behind it. I always want to know the because. That's me. How are you all doing here? We got another couple of minutes. Does anybody have a question or anything they'd like to ask or say or share? Anything you're struggling with? Any way in which this doesn't make sense to you? Or you're not sure, where to go with this? We'll be diving more deeply into this at the end of this month. On the 30th of April, we're going to do a sort of half-day intensive I'm blanking on what we're calling it, but it's sort of the same idea of like this one decision that makes every other decision easier. Your organizing principle, that's what it is. Your organizing principle. Thank you. Yes. And those of you who are in Get It Done Lab will be enrolled in that for free. You get that as a bonus, but the rest of you will have an opportunity to buy into it. It's not going to be very expensive, and we'll have those out to you in a couple of weeks. Lori says, one person put on a resume was, I like to have fun. The interviewers made sure she was interviewed. Right. That's special, right? People who make things fun, that person who walks in the room and you're like, oh, so-and-so's here. Awesome. Right. Edith says, I use this as a caregiver coming from love for my dad. Right, exactly. When you are in tough or stressful situations, and God knows being a caregiver, God bless you. There's nothing, a few things in life are harder than that. But yes, reminding yourself that you're here for the love makes it a lot easier, right? Judy says, thank you for framing the day. I'm going to teach a class tomorrow. And this is just the way I'm going to start off. Excellent, Judy. That's great. Abdullah says, how do you convince others to look at issues from your point of view without being pushy? You cannot convince anyone of anything. Stop trying. No one can convince you of anything, and you can't convince anyone else. So you can share your point of view. You can say, I see this way. Does that make sense to you? If you're dealing with people who have a lack of empathy, sometimes using what they call a bridge phrase, like you can see how so-and-so might have felt this way. Like if you put yourself in their shoes, you can see how it might have seemed this way to this person. Sometimes for people who lack empathy or have a hard time, if you give them that phrase of like, if you imagine that this were happening to you, or if you put yourself in their shoes, and sometimes that can help people switch around. But yeah, sorry, you can't convince anybody of anything. It's exhausting to try. So your best bet is just to model the behavior that matters most to you. And if you're in charge, if you're the boss, you can make rules, right? But mostly, yeah, Gay Nelson, attempt to understand their perspective. I think that's probably going to be your best bet, is for you to look at the issues from their point of view. And that level of empathy will sometimes open people up. June saying, thanks, Julie. It's a fine distinction. Because is important as an explanation, but us girls often over-explain. Yeah, that can happen. That can happen. But again, if you're going to make a mistake, I'd rather have you make a mistake that's in line with your values. And again, you can even say that up top. You can say, like, look, I'm likely to over-explain things because I really want you to understand the whole picture here. So be patient with me while I over-explain, won't you? Like, or if I'm over-explaining, please just make the stop your over-explaining sign, right? You just admit it, right? Again, honor the humanness. We're not looking to be perfect. But again, if I'm going to make a mistake, I'd rather make it in being too authentic, in being too kind, in being too good humored, in being too obsessive about language. Right. Lainey says, thanks for this, Sam. I love the way you said the time block is a building block for the day. Right. This is how we know what's important to us. How you spend your time is how you live your life. And when you let all the other little things take up the whole day, no wonder you're frustrated. No wonder you're tired. No wonder you're not doing anything differently. So you've got the power. Take the power, even if it's only in 2-minute increments, even if it's only 1, 4, 7, 8 breath at a time. You've got it. So speaking of that, we're at the bottom of the hour. So let's take one more breath to close this circle. Thank you so much for being here. Your presence honors me and our work together to make the world a more creative and productive and fun and good humored and authentic and kind and creative and wordy place. So let's inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for being here today. Mwah. Yay.